Here we go!
Hey, what's up everyone? This is GamerBlake90, and you are watching the second half of my little mini-series regarding the special zones in Sonic after the sequel. If you recall, in my last video, we showed off the special levels for Horizon Heights, Sugar Splash, Science City, Foliage Furnace, which also has a second special zone, by the way, probably to make up for Dream Dance Zone's absence, and finally Technology Tree. So in this video, we're going to be looking at the rest of the special zones for the other active Foliage Furnace, along with Moon Mansion, which is looking an awful lot like Daylight Mansion right about now, and then with Redhot Right Zone, Parhelion Peak, and finally Storm Station Zone. But first we need to take care of this little punk trying to rip off the, how the Metal Sonic boss in Mania Stardust Speedway initially looked, because it got quite a makeover in the 2018 update that incorporated the Encore Mode DLC, by adding in a boss design of Metal Sonic exactly as it inspired in Knuckles Chaotix. But before that, the second phase consists of a spiked wall that would dash towards you while you had to outrace Metal Sonic at the highermost track in the second act of the Speedway. But now more or less that recycled concept is back for this phase of the first sub-boss that you glimpsed in this act of Moon Mansion. In fact, I believe it was inspired by Moon Mansion Act 3, which threw two sub-bosses at you, and then the actual boss in the, well, boss act. And also, we're deep enough in the mansion to glimpse the Hydro City background yet again. And while I'm looking at this, this background, I want to ask something. Like, I found myself wondering exactly what kind of architectural design inspired the concept of Hydro City. Like, obviously, it's a labyrinth, drenched to the bone in water, just like Sonic 1's Labyrinth Zone. However, in comparison to Labyrinth, the Hydro City Zone looked a lot more... what's the phrase I'm looking for? I think it was architectural. Like, it seemed to resemble more of a lost palace covered in water. Kind of like, what was it? Water Palace in Sonic Rush? But with the addition of those candles that give those windows an ever so eerie light, which is fitting for a mansion-based stage. And speaking of which, I think Luigi's Mansion might have had something to do with the inspiration used for this level because of these guys right here. They behave very much like booths in which they disappear when you either look away from them or when you spin dash toward them. Except they're coming back as I'm spin dashing, I don't know why, but I think it's because if you go airborne again, they'll then reappear. So they behave slightly differently from the booths as they are seen in the Mario series, but all the same, they do share some similarities. And while I'm talking about Moon Mansion now essentially being Daylight Mansion, I heavily appreciate the morning vibe being used with the Azure Lake background as it's seen in the Sonic 3 multiplayer option. But look at this! You can even see the mountains and the clouds reflected off the watery surface, just past the mist that's still circling the mansion. Is that not cool or what? But all in all, I've never quite figured out what exactly this darkening... oh wait, now I know what this color tinge is all about. It's to signal the coming of the second sub-boss, which has been made slightly more difficult in the special zone by adding in a spike bed as seen to the left. So you need to obviously stay away from that, wait for the boss to peek his face out of the shadows again, and then do your work. It's basically it. It's not exactly that challenging of a sub-boss to start with. But when I did my main playthrough for this game, I kind of made it look a lot harder than it was. Because again, multitasking commentary and gameplay all at once isn't my strongest suit yet, but please give me time. Also, what? And to think, I went through that effort to exhibit some patience before breaking that bad dick down, only to still get clipped. Just think, you try and do the right thing and you get slapped anyway. Like, that's some kind of BS. But either way, that's hardly an inconvenience, because I think at this point we're very nearly done. Oh, we are done with Moon Mansion. Or Daylight Mansion. Or should I say Morning Mansion? I can't really tell if the brighter tinge in the sky is supposed to resemble a morning vibe or an afternoon vibe, but it looks more like morning vibe to me, the longer I look at it. Regardless, we're going to Red Hot Ride Zone next. So what's the remix of this one gonna sound like? Yes, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go! I think it was the multiplayer version of Mystic Cave as it's heard in Sonic 2. And wow, oh my god, LakeFeperd, this remix is cooking! I think I could go for a breakfast toaster served at the side of this remix, please? Also, these guys are essential. I bet they're essential relatives of the Krabby Pokemon, and right now I don't like them all that much. Go away! You only serve a better purpose as a lobster platter. Wow, though. Red Hot Ride was initially a stage with a volcanic design, but I think it's become an ice cavern now, like the one seen in Zelda Ocarina of Time. In fact, let me test something, just so I can verify. Yeah, this looks an awful lot like the lava initially seen in Red Hot Ride Zone, but it doesn't hurt you now. And when you consider the ice blue tinge and the light in this level, I think the volcano has succumbed to the ice age. That is some incredible stuff. The special zones, while not doing much to alter the layout as it originally appeared in the stages, there are nevertheless some very noticeable differences, like these dramatic evolutions of the background. Like for one, you now have Horizon Heights being covered in snow as opposed to simply being a grassy plain that was surrounded by very artistically designed pillars, giving it some kind of ancient feel. In fact, I think I would liken it to that Ocean Palace in Sonic Heroes. And the theme view for Horizon Heights was definitely similar to that of one seen in, well, rather heard, excuse me, in Sonic Heroes. In fact, the developer himself, LakeFeperd, outright admitted that Sonic Heroes inspired a lot of the level design in this game, including Storm Station, which started to remind me of the Final Fortress. That one wasn't fun, let me tell you. The soundtrack was definitely banging, of course, just like a lot of the soundtracks heard and beloved. I keep saying seen when talking about soundtrack. Let me stop. Let's scale this wall by using this fire shield to take advantage of these multicolored bumpers. Come on, Sonic. These things kind of work weirdly at times. Like, they'll bounce you at different heights, and at times not give you back your ability to air dash with a fire shield. I don't know why, but those things can feel kind of quirky. But most of the time, they do work just fine for a fan game, so still some good stuff here. Let's see if we can bypass that rather annoying obstacle involving the long-distance relatives of the Krabby Pokemon who are not so friendly to us. Jesus. I'm sorry, but I'm finding myself lost in the ice blue tinge that we're seeing in Red Hot Ride now. I think it's looking a lot more like Blue Hot Ride Zone. or Blue Ice Ride Zone rather than Blue Hot, because nothing is remotely hot about this level other than the soundtrack, obviously. And the fire shield, which evidently cannot help me launch myself high enough to get up there, or can I use this as a stool instead? The answer looks like a yes, but it didn't give me back my air dash. Okay, there we go. Now it's working. Also, what are those items up there? Ooh, 2 fire shields and an extra life surrounded by ring monitors. That's something. No, I am not your meal. Go away. Whoa, no. God, I hate those guys. Those things that swallow you whole just like that fish in Super Mario 64. Whoa, hold on. Huh? I could have sworn I saw that ball move to the left. Let me respawn it and try it again. Maybe I'm going nuts, but I swear I moved it to the left after I launched it upwards. Okay, left. It actually does move to the left now. I think it buried itself in the frozen lava, and now I can use it as sort of a stepping stone. Oh, shoot. I didn't mean to fall down here, but it's alright. I can appreciate the slight detour. I'm in no hurry to finish these special zones, you know. Like, the changes to the layout in terms of, like, well, how the platforming was initially designed has for the most part remained the same, but then you throw in these evolutions of the background and suddenly they feel like entirely different worlds. Sonic Mania's Encore mode utilizes this exact concept. It doesn't do terribly much to change them other than providing edited backgrounds, and in some cases, new routes with which to invoke new possibilities in each of the stages. And I can see that the special zones borrow from that exact concept. I can't help but wonder, were they patched into the game as a result of the Director's Cut update that came out for after the sequel, right after Sonic Mania dropped? Or were they always here? In fact, the soundtrack in previous versions of this game used to sound different too, but I wasn't around to enjoy the product in its earlier version, so I wouldn't know all too much about that. Also, the Kirby power-up comes back in the special zone for Parhelion Peak. What's this effect flying past in the foreground? Looks an awful lot like confetti rather than snow. The stage is still snow-covered, of course, but there's not any snow falling right now. It kind of feels like we're in the middle of a parade, but we're not really seeing a procession for it, so that could very well be a faulty guess on my part. Hey, the Peak Badnik we whooped in the initial Parhelion Peak is back, and he doesn't look too thrilled. I guess you're not the kind of guy to enjoy the festivities. Give me back my power-up. I'm not in the mood to forego it just yet. Thank you. Oh, look, guys. Sonic 3's Carnival Night is back. Oh. So the bumper balls work slightly differently now. There's half of one which can now be used like a stepping stone, and of course the gray one in front of us is a booby trap that will cause a cannon to, well, not a cannon, but a projectile to shoot itself at us if we bump ourselves off of it. But thanks to this bad boy right here, we do not need to deal with that any longer, and thank God. I found it to be the most irritating obstacle to contend with when I played Parhelion Peak for the first time, or somewhat for the first time, because before actually playing Parhelion Peak, I played a stage mod for it in Sonic Mania, and it was just as enjoyable. Also, what is that up there? Is that a huge Cheetos puff? Seriously? You got Cheetos now? Wait, huh? Okay, so I'm holding up, and his hands start to glow with power while he's looking upward. That's not a detail I've come to notice all that often, but that's interesting. Like, it doesn't help him charge up his attack if you were wondering about that. That's what holding the X button is for, when you want to use the projectile to help break you through walls and enemies and the like. Also, somebody tells me I don't want to touch those things because I might get hurt, and sure enough, I was right. But somehow, it didn't make me lose my power-up. That's one of the neat things about this fan game, but I really don't know if it was like an error in the programming or something like that. Like, generally, if you have a power-up when you take damage, you lose that power-up first, and then you lose your rings. But in this game, if you're like, say, underwater, for example, and you get hit, you don't lose your bubble shield, you lose your rings first. In fact, do you even lose your bubble shield at all if you keep taking hits while you're underwater? I don't know if it's supposed to work like that or not, but that's been my experience. So I'm not complaining, like, at all, because if I lost my bubble shield underwater, I'd panic. Especially if I'm not familiar with the underwater section I'm in. But if I am familiar with it, then it's not that big a deal to me, because I usually clear it before there's an actual need for oxygen, using the air bubbles. Okay, so, seriously, what is going on here in Parhelion Peak? These, those lights are definitely giving me a Stardust Speedway vibe, only we're in a snowy environment instead of, a city environment driving in the night. Now, these guys I do not like all too much, but this Kirby power-up makes it so we won't have to deal with them either. I can't tell which is more broken now, the Spike Shield or this bad boy right here. Maybe you can make that a question of the day. What do you think is the most powerful power-up, sorry for the poor wordplay, in Sonic after the sequel? Like, is it the Spike Shield, the Bubble Shield, the Fire Shield, or in the case of Cyan City, is it this power-up inspired by the Kirby series? Whatever your answer to that question is, let me know in the comments below. Also, one thing you won't need to let me know about is my exceptionally poor platforming, because, come on, things like these, I should not be getting hit by. I don't know. Okay, I think we're about done here, are we? Because I know to finish off the one of the ads in Parhelion Peak, you're shot upwards through the final platform where there's a goalpost waiting to be passed. So maybe it'll work like that here, or not? Because for the most part, it feels like this was inspired by Act 2, the more I look at it. Okay, let's come on up here. Oh, come on, seriously? Is this it? What the heck? Wait, huh? What just happened there? Like, somehow, I touched the goalpost, but it didn't activate. Then I run a fair distance forward, and then it just spins itself around, signifying that I did in fact trigger it. That was some weird stuff, bro. But let's not worry too much about that. And it looks like I was right. That special zone for Parhelion Peak was inspired by Act 2 Incarnation. Bruh, wait a minute, is that a bit of Parhelion Peak integrated into Storm Station now? In fact, the more I... Hey, this remix for Storm Station Act 1? Yo, count me in. But what is going on here? Am I walking on thin air? What is happening? I don't get it, but we're gonna roll with it. But I think I understand what this is now. So like, when you beat the initial Storm Station zone, the fortress signifying the stage collapses onto the side of the mountain, which itself is covered with snow from Parhelion Peak. So I think this redesign of Storm Station resembles the stage in a game where it's actually fully completed. Like you've already beaten the game, the storyline itself took place, and you came right back here to explore the ruins of Storm Station while it's hanging outside the mountain. But somehow the traps that are programmed into the fortress are still active, so evidently we have these to worry about. And also the remix kind of undergoing a change where it feels more like Act 2. Interesting. Oh god, the electric grids are back. What do you think this is? Wacky Workbench? I'm sorry, but after playing through Panic Puppet Zone, I've had more than enough of Wacky Workbench or anything remotely similar to it. Like, give me a break, please! But, yeah. Relatively, this showcase was going to be pretty short, because it's only like one act for each of the special zones, but thus far it's been a treat to see. I have to wonder just how often these were showcased, because LakeFeperd himself had said that he wondered just how many people would see the special mode screen after they've beaten the game. And in that case, I'd be pleased to know that I'm one of the few that have definitely taken notice of it. Wow, and the music went right back to the Act 1 remix. And the underground flamethrowers are back. I'm not all too happy about that. Alright, we're gonna have to wait for the electric grid to turn itself off, and then we can do our thing. Oh look! The gravity after effect from before the sequel's Arcane Altitude shows its ugly face again. But in this case, it'll come in handy. And I don't have to actually break any sort of light switch in order to use this. So, it's a little more convenient. Oh, I timed that just... Ah! That one I didn't time so well because I failed to realize until like the last second that there was a laser. Sorry, but I don't have the arm or the leg to spare for a LASIK surgery, so I'm gonna have to pass up on that, thank you. Can I break these contraptions? Thankfully, yes I can, because Lord knows, those things with the projectile that don't vanish off screen were a pain in my backside. Still, I think for a final zone, Storm Station definitely gives it an inspirational feel. Like in most final levels, you're treating a soundtrack that gives you an ominous vibe telling you what will happen if you all but fail your mission. But at Storm Station, while it's still painfully evident what happens if you fail to stop Eggman, this kind of theme makes you feel like you're all set to go, that you're ready to whoop Eggman's butt and save the world. It gets you all revved up, like most of the Sonic soundtrack. If any of you ever wondered why Sonic music is among my favorite pieces of soundtrack to listen to above all others, you need to play more Sonic games, and only then will you be able to understand. Okay, well, this hybrid of Parhelion Peak and Storm Station was fascinating and all, but these things, on the other hand, are not fascinating. In fact, they're annoying, and I've had more than enough of my share in them, so please let this be the final stretch. Let this be the final stretch. Oh, there's the anti-gravity effect again. And I think it's being brought about by the enormous red lights that were passing over in the background. I think those are what's triggering them, because they've been present every time that kind of anti-gravity effect has taken place. Still, that was really awesome. And very, very fascinating, too. Like, it gives you an epilogue feel of sorts. When you come back to see the wreckage of the Storm Station on the side of Parhelion Peak's mountaintop, and you find a hybrid level consisting of elements from the two. Not much in the way of Parhelion Peak other than the background, though, whereas all of the tracks were seen from Storm Station. I really love how LakeFeperd took that opportunity to show off what it would be like if Sonic were to backtrack to the island where the events of After the Sequel took place, and he revisited the ruins of whatever layers of Eggman that he trashed along the way to catch up to the guy. Anyway, we're going to the final special zone in the game, and that is going to be for the second act of Foliage Furnace, which is also a distant cousin to Sonic Spinball's Lava Powerhouse. If you don't understand the reference, you obviously have not played Spinball, and honestly, that might be a good thing, because as much as I love Sonic, some of the games just make me shake my head, and I'm pretty sure they have for a lot of you. Alright, still. This level actually takes that concept of Spinball and turns it into something fun. But what's not so fun is the return of the Cheetos Puffs that are now being launched at us like, I want to say, overheated cannonballs or chunks of molten earth from inside of the earth. God, that wordplay was terrible. Ah! Shoot. I need my ring back. There we go. Whew. And this fire shield will definitely come in handy, because this looks like a fire-based environment. And wow, we can use the air dash from the fire shield to knock these things aside? That's what's up. Could we also use them to jump up there, though? Because Mighty is nowhere to be found. So I don't know how I'm gonna get up there. And it looks like I was correct to call this stage a distant cousin of Spinball's Lava Powerhouse. Because y'all hear that remix? I know y'all hear it. I know you all hear it. You can't tell me that you don't. Huh? I don't know what happened, but don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Nah, guys, I learned my lesson. I know what y'all are about, and I'm not gonna give you what you want. Alright, these you gotta time very carefully, so that you don't go flying right into a saw blade, because that'll hurt. That won't damage me, won't it? Okay, no it's not. So that looks like overheated liquid of sorts, and the fire shield keeps it safe from that, thank goodness. Is there a... oh no, that's a piece of breakable ground that will take us to the next section. I thought for a minute there might be a spring hidden underground, but I guess not. Alright, what's up there? Whoops. That was accidental. Let's move to the right. Wow! It maintained the after effect of an air dash from the fire shield when I was shot out of that cannon again. That was something else. The soundtrack for Spinball was interesting, to say the least. But this remake kind of puts Lava Powerhouse in a redeeming light. Okay, these guys, we can't attack at all, and I was not even trying to mount an offensive, but I was forced to pay up with a fire shield anyway. Bruh. Alright, so we're back outside the factory, and there's that force field with the Hilltop logo emblazoned across it. So that should signal to us that we're close to the end of the second act. In fact, it should be like right down here. No, I see you guys. What the heck? My jump didn't come out! I saw you guys, I was totally ready for you, but my jump button was like, nah, you're gonna get sliced up, boy! And I'm not all too pleased by that. At all. Great, now I want to play Sonic Spinball. Words that I didn't think would ever leave my mouth. And I've already went through... Also, I don't need the fire shield to knock those Cheetos Puffs away. I can just jump right into them. I thought they would hurt me if I didn't have the shield, but hey, I'm glad to have been wrong. Alright, so we need to use these to shoot ourselves through this very last section with the utmost precision. And for the most part, I didn't provide a very good display at that, but we pulled through anyway. And with that, we are done with the Special Zones showcase for Sonic After the Sequel. That's it for this mini-series. I hope you all enjoyed taking this look back at Sonic After the Sequel to appreciate one of its sideline features in special mode. Also, if you were curious, Well, I don't think you were curious to see me playing Technology Tree again, were you? Okay, so I was trying to say earlier, there is another feature to the special mode, or two other features I should say, one of which is a boss rush, but it doesn't appear to be 100% functional, because when you beat the first boss in Horizon Heights, it takes you to the first act of Sugar Splash, instead of to like the boss act. But then again, Sugar Splash doesn't have a boss act, so I don't know why it doesn't just skip you on to Cyan City, which does have a boss battle, but maybe you have to beat all Sugar Splash and then complete the rest of the boss rush? Not exactly what I would expect in such a feature, but oh well. There's also a debug mode, but I haven't unlocked it yet. My guess is that we need to play the game in classic mode and get all the Chaos Emeralds to unlock debug mode. And at some point I will do another playthrough of this game where we do check out the special stages and play through the entire game as Tails rather than Sonic. Cause unlike in before the sequel, you don't switch control between the two characters to play after the sequel. You can just pick one and stick with them. So, next time you do play through this game, I'll be showcasing Tails throughout the entirety of after the sequel. But until then, we are done for now, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you in my next video covering, well, something. I'm gonna peace out, guys, and I'll see y'all next time. Let me know in the likes and comments what you thought, and if you want to follow my Sonic content, hit that sub button, ring that bell, and consider joining my Discord server in order to get first-hand updates on my content as they come. Until then, guys, I'll see y'all next time. Peace out, Blue Blurs for life.